Hello beautiful people, my name is Bridget and welcome back to my channel. Hope you're having an awesome day, and today's video is going to be about eyeshadow palettes, as per usual on this channel. We love a good palette. So today we're going to be talking about my favorite palettes of 2019 so far. Now that we're in the second half of 2019, we are in here, and I'm talking about some of my favorite palettes that came out this year, or at least that I've tried this year. I think all these came out in 2019, 99% sure, but just in case, these are things I've been using in 2019. So without any further ado, let's jump to the video. Alright guys, as always, all makeup on this channel is cruelty free, and so are all the products I'm talking about in today's video. Also, these are my personal opinions. There might be some really good palettes that I haven't tried, or some palettes that I'm just like, about, and you guys really love. That's perfectly fine. We don't have to agree. Now, one thing, I want to start off this video with this first favorite, and I have to know in the comment section, you guys have to let me know if I'm the only one who has like this weird like thing about Tarte palettes. So this first favorite is the Young, Wild, and Cruelty Free, the Tarte Unleashed palette. But what I'm talking about, and I want to know down below, do you guys love the smell of Tarte palettes? Because I freaking love it. It's like kind of a vanilla-y scent. I'm hoping you guys know what I'm talking about. Like, Tarte palettes have a specific scent, and I like die. Like, I love the way a Tarte palette smells when I open it up and I smell it. I know it's not supposed to be like super scented or anything. I just like, ugh, I love the smell of a Tarte palette. Please let me know if I'm crazy or if you guys agree with me down below. But this is the Tarte Unleashed palette. I felt really guilty about buying this when I first did it because it is $39. And I have things that are similar. I don't need it, but I really wanted this palette. So this is the Tarte Unleashed palette. I kind of wish it said the name of a palette on the front, not just on the back label. This is the palette itself. The color story is not the most unique in the world, but it has a lot of cool colors in here that I really like. So right off the bat, you see a bunch of warm colors, but like this color specifically, this pink doesn't come off too pink on my eyes. This purpley shade comes off very mauvey. It's so pretty. Like, even like this shimmer and stuff, it's a pretty shimmer, but it's not like super bold or in your face. So I like that. It's really good for like a slightly neutral look. It's really easy to work with. The formula of this palette is absolutely fantastic. I love everything. There's nothing in here that I've tried so far that I dislike. I like how subtle a lot of these shimmers are too. Like this shimmer, I'm telling you, and this shimmer right here specifically, and this one too. They're all just shimmers. They don't like cause a lot of attention. Even this gold, they don't like blow away an eye look. I kind of like how like subtle and pretty they are on the eyes. It's a great palette. I love the quality of it. I love the smell. I love the packaging. It's like that scratchy thing we used to get on notebooks going to school, and it's really cute. Next up is the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Blue Blood palette. So this is the Blue Blood palette. It is a gorgeous palette. Again, I do have a full review of this and a 3 looks 1 palette using this palette down below in the description box. I'll link it for you. There's 2 shades in here I don't like. I'm not a fan of these 2 shades. They don't come off the same way on the eyes as they normally do. And one, I think it's the cremated shade, is just a little bit patchy. But overall, the majority of the palette is so good. My favorite shade is Ice Tray, which is this blue shimmer right here. It's just a gorgeous palette overall. I kind of like that there's like a weird neutrally color here and here. So it's kind of fun. I love this bluey greeny shade is really cute too. My favorite shade in the palette other than Ice Tray is Cullinan, which is this shade. It is literally the most gorgeous inner corner highlight you'll ever have in your life. Like, I use Ice Cold every day for my inner corner highlight, which is a Jeffree Star Skin Frost, but Cullinan like blows everything out of the water. I need this in like a full like pizza sized pan, please, because Cullinan is soft, it's buttery, it's gorgeous, and the rest of the blues and everything in here is great too. It's just a little bit bulky and weird to store, but it's a beautiful palette. Alright, so next up is the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Jawbreaker Palette. We're going to talk about both Jeffree Star palettes that I like this year together. So Jawbreaker just came out, so we did a 3 looks 1 palette with it and a first impressions video with it. This is the palette. I just love the quality of it overall. I mean, there's a couple shades in here I'm not too crazy about, and a couple of them stain your eyes really bad, but the majority of the palette is really good quality. I feel like the neutrals in here, like Good Morning and Cone, are really pretty. I feel like some of the bright colors that I really enjoy are like the shade Cute and the shade Brain Freeze. The yellows are my favorite yellows in the world, to be honest, because I'm very particular about yellow eyeshadow. Like, that's my thing. But overall, the palette is a really beautiful color story. It's like a fun carnival of a palette, and the quality is amazing. You have so many different versatile looks in here. And I really like it. The packaging's cute too. It's really big and it's pretty expensive, but it's a great quality palette. No complaints about it. I definitely prefer this over the mini one. So next, let's talk about some ColourPop palettes that I really like this year. This first one came out around Easter time, I think, and this is the Sweet Talk palette. I wasn't completely sold that I need this at first, but it's stunning. The packaging is literally, there's no palette that I own that I feel like is more aesthetically pleasing as this palette, just because I love the artwork on the front. This is totally like my style of like artwork that I like. It's beautiful. And everything about this collection was just so pretty. This is the color scheme on the inside of the palette. This reflectiveness makes it really hard to focus on the colors. And I'm not too crazy about the pressed glittery shades. Like this one broke when I first got it. I had to smush it back into place. But like even like slide to slide, like this wet kind of like super shot consistency in a regular palette is pretty cool. The mattes in here are absolutely stunning and I love everything about this. I love that there's a lot of pinky pink and then there's like one or two deepening up shades. I really like that. Most of the time I'd be like, oh, there's not enough shades to like help deepen this up. But for this color story in general, I just like how fun and light everything is. And a lot of the days I wear subtle eye makeup, so this is great. Next up for ColourPop palettes is the Blue Moon palette. A lot of people were saying you don't need the Blue Blood for $55 or $58. You could just get this $12 ColourPop palette. And I agree, there's so many great options with this palette. I mean, I love the Blue Blood palette, don't get me wrong, there's a lot more versatility in that. But the Blue Moon palette for 12 bucks is so cute. And if you place an order over $25 in ColourPop, you can use code 5Bridget to save $5. It doesn't work on new releases, but 5Bridget will work for you. So this is the palette. It is so pretty. This Lumi shade, which is like a really pretty inner corner highlight, has a lot of blue to it, so it's not comparable to Cullinan. It is very icy blue. It's not just white shimmer, so be careful if you have a lot of blueness underneath your eyes. You're going to put this in the inner corner. It might enhance the blue a little bit, but this overall is so beautiful. So yeah, I don't know, I really enjoy it. So if you are looking for a nice small blue palette, Blue Moon, great option. And I wonder what the last ColourPop palette is going to be. It couldn't perhaps be the Honey palette. Okay, so I live, die, breathe for yellow eyeshadow. I love it so much. And this Honey palette was like, it's a fantasy come to life. And I love everything about this. Again, not too crazy about getting pressed glitters in these little palettes. Honestly, they're just kind of hard to work with when you're, like, this is like an on-the-go palette. I don't need a pressed glitter. But I love this so much. They're so beautiful. The mattes in here are fantastic to work with. Now, is this my favorite ColourPop yellow shadows? No, I feel like the Yes Please palette, that bright yellow in there, is still better than any of the yellows in this ColourPop yellow palette. But it's just stunning. I really like it. I do wish there was like a more of a bright golden, like really enhanced color of yellow in this palette. But I love ColourPop. Their quality is amazing. And I feel like this is a great palette for people to start trying yellow eyeshadow out since it's only $12. Since we're talking about yellow eyeshadow, let's talk about the other palette that really just like made me happy this year. And this is the Lemonade Midas Cosmetics palette. This palette is so pretty. I don't like the cover art. I feel like it looks like it's something from Free Pick or like stock. It's like a stock picture. They just put their name on it. Like, I'm not crazy about this artwork on the front. It doesn't look very original. But the color story on the inside is so pretty. It's a beautiful yellow. One or two of these is not my favorite like matte formula in the world. But overall, I'm just happy to have a yellow palette. I really like it. And it's really pretty. I don't know. I love yellow eyeshadow. Maybe that's why I like these things so much. Next up is the palette I necessarily don't really use that often. Honestly, it's not my color story. But I love it. It's one of my favorite palettes for this year for the aesthetics of it, which is probably dumb, but this is the Ciate London and Jessica Rabbit palette. The Jessica Rabbit collection, first of all, is so smart. This cover art on this is literally everything. Like, oh my god. This is the color story in the inside of the palette. It's very Jessica Rabbit. I definitely see where like the purples and the reds and the oranges come from. And the quality up here is really good. The purple matte in the bottom isn't like my favorite. It's a little bit patchy. But overall, the color story in here is really cool. Definitely something a lot of people get a lot of use out of. But just the overall aesthetics of having a Jessica Rabbit collection is so cool and so pretty. And for that reason, I love it. And I also love Ciate London packaging. I feel like it's cute, small, proficient. Next up is a palette that I love. And I think it's so cute, and I'm super excited to see what they do next. So this is the Max Out the Makeup Ready Set Summer Palette. It's just so cute. Overall, Max Out the Makeup's first Flower Child palette, I just love how pretty and pastel it was, and the artwork was so cute, and it looked all vintagey, and I just loved seeing this one come out too, so this is it. I have a dedicated review to this palette, to most of these palettes, honestly, but it's just a beautiful color story. These shimmers in here are stunning. They're stunning. Like the mattes are really good too, but like these shimmers are out of this world. This one right here is just a beautiful like bluey green. Look how beautiful that is. We'll swatch the gold too. Like these are just so beautiful. I like that there's not like an overwhelming amount of shimmers in here. We only have 3. It's so cute. Like what is there not to like about this palette? I love it. It's great, and I want to see what they do next. So the next palette is the Kaleidoscope Cosmetics Astro Pink palette. This is one of 3 palettes that came out. I did do a review of this collection, which is the Futurism collection, and I think Astro Pink is my favorite one. I really like the green one too, but I broke it and shattered it, and it's very devastating. But this is the Kaleidos Astro Pink palette. This is such a cute palette. This is my favorite color story. I love these really cool tone browns up here. It makes it really easy to put on whatever shimmer you want on the lid. The blue in here is stunning. The purple is really easy to work with. This lavender, it doesn't really look, it looks kind of silver on camera, but it's definitely a lavender shade. So cute. Not crazy about a black shimmer, but overall this packaging, super unique. Love the magneticness. Really easy to store, small, and this art on the front is so beautiful, watercolory stuff, that I'm super here for this. Next up is from Alter Ego, which is a brand that does a lot of like dupe palettes for an affordable price. So this is the Alter Ego Goddess palette. This is my favorite one that they released. It's like a heaviness to it. It's got a weight to it. It's a dupe for the Natasha Denona Gold palette. So I think it's gold. Is it gold or Safari? I think it's gold. This is what the palette looks like. It's beautiful. It's not necessarily my everyday like go-to color story, but it's so unique, and I really like how this performs. Like the quality of this is really good. I love the matte formulation in this palette. Something about the brown mattes in here is so pretty. The golds and everything are beautiful too, but it's just a really fun palette to work with. If I want to break out and be like, let's not do the same thing every day, this is definitely a color story I personally would go for, just because there is a lot of deeper shades in here, or like slightly off shades that I'm not used to using all the time. So I'm here for this palette. It's beautiful. And the last palette I'm going to talk about today is one that really surprised me that I liked it so much. There's something about the quality of the pink shades in here specifically is like beautiful. So this is the Remedy Eyeshadow Palette by Beauty by Stoney. I wasn't expecting too much out of this palette. I was thinking it'd be like a normal eyeshadow palette. Sorry I broke this one shade, it's a little messed up. But this palette quality is really good. Like the mattes in here are so pigmented. The shimmers in here are stunning. Like this pink right here. So what I'll usually do if I reach into this palette, basically the only thing I do with this palette is I'll dip into like this wine color that I broke, and I'll put it over the crease, and then I'll put this on the lid, and this is like a beautiful color. Like there's something about this color in particular. Stunning. It's got like almost a wetness to it. It's kind of like a putty eyeshadow, but it doesn't dry out. I don't know. I don't get it. It's stunning. The quality of this palette in general, I really thoroughly enjoy. Not too crazy about the purple one. It's a little bit patchy, but other than that, this color story is super cool, and I'm really surprised with the quality of this palette. It's really good. Anyways, you guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your favorite palettes of the year are in the comment section down below. Lately, I've been reaching for my Tartelette and Bloom palette a lot. It's just really simple for like everyday looks. But overall, my favorite palette for the year, I think, might be the Tarte Unleashed, just because I get a lot of use out of it. I've been like making myself use it to justify buying it because I know I didn't need it, and I really like the Honey palette and the Blue Blood palette as well. So there are a lot of good things going on this year. Please let me know your favorite 1 or 2 palettes from the year down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys!